Good morning. Can I just say that I'm happy that this week is over? Pearl of Great Price was hard. I know that coming up in the later weeks there's more of it. Hopefully by then I'll have learned my lesson and I'll know how to study this better. But today is verses 21 through 26. And I know what you're thinking. Haley, you didn't split up the verses evenly this week. And you know what I'm going to say to that? I did it that way because I could, okay? I don't know why I didn't split up yesterday and today into 5 verses each. I don't know. I just did it this way. Okay, deal. So, 21 through 26, and in this it's talking about what's happening after the vision. A few days later, he's in the company of a Methodist preacher, and he's astonished at how much just notice and adversity and mocking and just he's amazed that he is now the center of attention when he was just this obscure boy who has to make his living by, the sweat of his brow. Why should he be of any consequence to anybody? Why should this be a thing that everybody around him notices and has to have an opinion on? So anyways, that's basically what's happening in these verses. But he says that he can't deny it. He says, I had seen a light. Heavenly Father did speak to me, and if I denied it, I would be offending God, and who knows what the consequences of that would be. He was not going to do it. So there are a few things that I can learn from these verses. One is the gossiping, the over attention to events in other people's lives that don't really affect you. Now, what had happened to Joseph affected the entire world. However, these people didn't know it at the time. Yet they spent so much energy and effort trying to tear him down. Now, us making mountains out of molehills out of the other things that other people do may not be, we're not trying to tear people down or whatever, but it makes us look inside and be like, okay, Joseph's saying, I'm this obscure boy, I'm nobody of consequence, I'm just 15 years old, yet everybody is talking about me. Everybody is making it their business to try to bring me down. Now we know that it's Satan influencing the hearts of these people. In our lives, when we are overly focused on somebody else's actions that don't really affect our lives, who's influencing our hearts? Who's influencing our actions? That's something that we can learn from these verses, And then the other thing is, in verse 24, when he says that he is like Paul. Let's see. He had seen a vision he knew he had, and all the persecution under heaven could not make it otherwise. And though they should persecute him unto death, yet he knew, and would know to his last breath, that he had both seen a light and heard a voice speaking unto him, and all the world could not make him think or believe otherwise. Those brief little words there about how when you know something to be true, when you have firsthand experience with it, the persecution of the world cannot change your mind. And I feel like that's something that happens a lot these days. you think you have these opinions on certain matters, and then something happens in the world, or somebody's like, well, in my experience, blah blah blah, and you're like, oh, well, maybe it is different. We have a lot of that these days. However, there is something sure and something true in the scriptures, where no matter how much the world tries to pound down that God isn't real and that government is more important than God or more powerful or knows better, to us, we can take comfort in the knowledge that if we have a testimony of that, the world can what does it say? The world could not make him think or believe otherwise. And all the persecution under heaven could not make it otherwise. I mean, what is it? It's that talk by Jeffrey R. Holland about not Liberty Jail, Carthage, where is it Hyrum Smith, Joseph's brother? They're in the jail, and they know that they're there to die. They absolutely know that they're about to die. And Hyrum is reading the Book of Mormon, and Elder Holland says, what kind of person takes comfort in a book that they made up? You know, no persecution under heaven could. If you know you're about to die and you made up a story, there's no possible way you take comfort in it. You know, so those are my thoughts for today. Joseph Smith History, Chapter 1, verses 1 through 26. All right, talk to you later.